I see or I read that you use the Dexcom, the T Slim system that a lot.
Yes.
You know, how is in particular, I'm really curious on how you use the T Slim and that closed loop system on this run in particular, because I know they have an exercise mode, but you literally would be pushing that to the extreme for many consecutive days. So, what is your experience with that technology and that type of exercise?
When I started to run across the US, I ran just in normal mode, primarily because I didn't want to get in a loop of trying to tap my body's own energy sources. I was not looking to lose weight. First of all, I was at my target weight more or less.
Hmm.
Right now, I weigh about 152 to 155, and it's not atypical on a run across the U.S. to lose in the neighborhood of 30 pounds.
Wow.
It's just almost impossible, even at 4 to 5,000 calories a day, to take on enough energy to do the run. And so I wanted to leave my pump configured in normal mode so that I could eat and dose and take that fuel on board rather than trying to break my body down for fuel or do something like that. That was successful for about a week.
Hmm.
Then I found that I had to run it in exercise mode because of increased insulin sensitivity. I didn't want large automatic boluses to be delivered. And by the time I was 3 or 4 weeks into it, there's your dramatic sound effects in the background. We're gonna have a severe thunderstorm watch right now.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I love the sound effects though. What I found after about 3 weeks was that I had to run it in sleep mode all the time.
Hmm.
Sleep mode basically being a setting where it'll adjust your basal rate, maybe make it a little bit higher if you're running a little high, but it actually won't bolus. Um, and I found that sleep mode worked best for super long, 10 hours a day cardio, day after day after day.
Hmm.
As the saying goes, though, your diabetes may vary.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So, because you're running on average 33 miles a day,
That's
every
about
day,
right.
every day. So that alone, just a 33-mile in one day, most people can't even comprehend trying to dose their insulin, but let alone trying to balance that for multiple consecutive days and weeks. Um, when I run my marathons, I find that yeah, if I get over the first hour, you know, changing the basal rates work really well, but I've never even tipped my toes in the water in that type of mileage and consecutive days. So so were you dropping low a lot that first week and week and a half that you were just trying to use the, regular mode then?
I was getting indications that, it was 98 or 100, and that was in the middle of a 3 mile stretch, and I needed to do another 2 miles on the fuel that I just took on. And I could tell that the 30 grams of carbs or sometimes I would mix carb-rich foods like Oreos um, with a chicken salad just to get some protein and fat on board. And it didn't seem to matter what I ate. I was about to run low. And my experience was that, a lot of the time, if you balance things perfectly, you can go out and run a marathon and your sugar will be 100 all day long because the insulin is coming on board just as the food is. But the feeling I had that a little bit of adrenaline in the background told me that no, this is an oncoming low. This isn't just, I'm dancing on the high wire just the right way and keeping things in balance. And sure enough, a couple times I tried to push it, and my sugar would go low. And that was enough of a confirmation to me that I really needed to either take more food on board or come up with a better dosing strategy.
Hmm. Oh, sorry, Grady, you can go ahead.
Yeah, so like when you run into those situations, how was it set up? Were you carrying things that would save you, or did you have your wife driving behind you? How did that all work?
I always carried a fairly plentiful amount of fast carbs on board. I usually had two glucose shots in my pocket. I may have one handy, this sort of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Um, and about 15 grams each. Those seem to act the fastest.
Mhm.
And I also had probably half a dozen runner's gels in my pockets at any one point. Most of the time, I didn't need to tap into that. Sometimes I tapped into it to treat lows. Sometimes I tapped into it because I was on a 8 mile stretch of the Withlacoochee Trail in Florida, and there was no way that the van was going to be able to get to me, so I needed to have that stuff handy.
Mm.
You raise an interesting point, though, which is that for type 1s, carrying enough fuel is not just one of those handy things that you stuff in your ultra vest.
Mhm.
It's like, okay, did we fuel up the airplane before we take off?
Mhm.
And because get up there and you don't have any fuel, it's like the propeller stops and that's it for you.
Yeah.
So we were very careful about that. From experience with running Texas, Leslie had the van supplied with literally everything we could possibly need in a situation like that, all the way from fast carbs to glucagon. And we had hoarded glucagon, so we had multiple glucagon rescue kits.